Hey, welcome back to the Expert Edge. I have an amazing interview today. It's with one of my really dear friends. His name is Rick Mulready. And we talk AI. And what I love about Rick is he's very human. You know, he doesn't come across like a robot, even though he works with robots all days. And so we have a super powerful conversation about AI. And if AI has been overwhelming you, I feel like it really settles the dust a lot and just gets you clued into like what we should be focusing on and what's a distraction. So super good conversation. On another note, we've been doing some upgrades and some tweaks to conversion story formula, and really just looking at the AI process with it. And so if you haven't grabbed our conversion story formula yet, definitely go and check that out, conversionstoryformula.com. Basically, it's the story that you tell at the start of your presentation, at the start of your speaking engagement. You can share it on your stories. It's the one story that your audience will not feel like you're selling to them, but will naturally create a magnetism towards you to want to work with you. And I was looking at the stats the other day. We've had over 13,000 people come through Conversion Story Formula over the last 3 to 4 years. And I just love getting all these messages from people saying like where they're sharing it, the impact it's having, the engagement, all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't checked that out, conversionstoryformula.com, it's a great place to start if you're new to my content or you haven't checked that out yet. So let's get into today's episode, all about AI with my good buddy, Rick Mulready. Hey, it's Colin, and you are listening to the Expert Edge podcast. I was a professional speaker for over a decade, and now I focus on helping coaches, speakers, and course creators to speak and sell on virtual and live stages. The Expert Edge podcast is weekly content focused on helping you build your expert business. We cover marketing, storytelling, sales, communication skills, and so much more. Thanks for taking the time to tune in, and make sure you subscribe and follow us on all our social channels so you don't miss a thing. Let's listen to today's episode. Rick Mulready, welcome to the Expert Edge, brother.
Thanks for having me. I realized that as soon as we started talking that we actually didn't arrange the black t-shirt, but we are wearing both wearing the black t-shirt.
Yeah, it is the uniform of choice.
It is the uniform. It is the podcast uniform.
I don't know about you, but I'm subscribed to one of those like black t-shirt things that just sends out like 50 every quarter.
It drives my daughter nuts because it's pretty much all I wear is black and gray because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Because she's like, Daddy, I want more color. Like, wear more color. And I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, so, have you ever, before we get into your topic, Rick, super important question. Have you ever done your palette? Your color palette?
I've not. The only thing I know about that is that I can't wear red or orange because my face is redder. Like my face skin tends to be more red than I'm Irish. So I can't wear red or orange. I know that because then it just brings it out more, but I've not done a palette. Have you done that?
Yeah, dude. I did one like 2 years ago. And I am deep winter.
Ooh.
So basically, I'm colors that have a cool edge to them. So I can't have warm colors. So similar, I can't wear like orange or red, and even certain blues, there are warm blues. I have to have a certain type of blue. So, but it's pretty cool actually, because you walk into a store and someone will go, "Oh, you should try this on," and I'm like, that's not in my color palette. And they're like, wait, what the heck? Right? It's like next level. I don't know.
Do you actually say that? That's amazing.
Yeah. I'll say, oh no, that won't match my color palette.
I love it. I'm going to start using that. But even if I haven't done it, I'm going to start using that in stores. Yeah, that's great.
It's like a full power move.
That's great. I love it.
Oh, so good. So good. Well, dude, I'm so grateful to have you here. I know we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
And done a lot of our journey together. We met, probably like 6 or 7 years ago in a mastermind together.
Yeah.
And watching you grow your business, it's evolved so much. I think when we first met, you were teaching Facebook ads.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And then, you were running a mastermind, a high level mastermind, and then you transitioned to now teaching AI. And that's the conversation I want to have today.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you, what started this interest for you to go like deep? Because there's a lot of people who are surface level AI, and we were discussing that a little bit before the conversation.
Yeah.
But one thing that you did this really well with Facebook ads when that was your angle is like you go really deep into stuff and really serve your audience well. So tell us about that journey and what that's looked like so far over the last 2 years or however long that's been.
Yeah, it's been a little over 3 years now, if you can believe it. Like it's end of March 2026. I mean, long story short is I got burned out from doing the online business thing. And this was the end of 2022 that where I really was burned out. I don't know that I can't say that I didn't realize it. Maybe it wasn't like accepting it. And so I was running a 12-month mastermind. That was my only offer. Yep. And then I remember being on a call in January 2023, and one of the members said, this like ChatGPT had just come out, like literally within a few weeks, and somebody mentioned it. And I mean, running an online business, we always have like squirrel, like we have shiny object.
Next shiny thing, 100%.
Yeah. And part of my job running the mastermind was to keep people from shiny objects. And I remember saying to this person on the call, like, let's focus here, talking about ChatGPT, like, don't chase this right now. Focus on what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then I remember a few weeks later, I had my podcast at the time, and I was putting together a podcast episode, and I was having a hard time coming up with ideas for a title. And I was like, I'm just going to go test this ChatGPT thing out. And I was blown away. I was like, oh, this is actually, and now this is back when it was ChatGPT 3, I think it was, or 3.5.
Yep.
And 3 years ago, which is forever in AI space, in AI time. So anyway, I was like, holy cow, this is really, really cool. And I got excited, and I felt that excitement. And so it was the first time I'd felt that sort of energy from something in the business in a long time. And so I sort of listened to that, ended up taking a few months off, taking like 4 months sabbatical that year. And
so with your mastermind, did you just kind of sunset it? Did you just go like, this is the last year, or
Yeah. I just ended it totally, basically just shut down that end of that side of the business, or that was the business at this time, and just made the shift into. That's pretty
big, because I know that was, that was like $1 million business, right? Like just that one offer.
Yeah.
And so to have the courage to sunset that and then start something new, what was that like?
It was really scary, very scary, because I had no idea what was going to happen. I also knew that if I didn't change something and I didn't fix the burnout, something bad was going to happen, like physically. So it sounds like,
have you had any clarity on this? Because I'm curious, because I'm sure a lot of people have felt this. Was there something that you found in yourself that you were like, okay, you were working in a strength that wasn't your strength, or you were doing a particular thing that wasn't exciting you? Like, what was it?
It was that. I've been doing it. I mean, at that time, I'd been doing it for in 2022. So I've been doing it for 8 years at that point. Yeah. And it just wasn't exciting me anymore. I also was finding too that, as leading a mastermind and coaching these online businesses, that I was taking a lot of their problems and challenges, and they want it so bad. I mean, you know this, right? Like they just want it to work. And so I was taking a lot of that on my shoulders, and that became too much for me.
That's hard not to do.
Very hard. And I've learned since then.
Dude, I will say the first time I shut down my mastermind, and I only reopened it in the last 6 months, that was one of the main reasons I shut it down. And that was like 6 years ago, was I didn't have the ability to create boundaries.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what got to me, essentially, because I'm terrible with boundaries. Like, I mean, we just want to help, right? Like, so absolutely. It sounds so corny, but like, that's the truth, is we just want to help so much. And because we care so much about the people that we're trying to help, like their success and stuff like that, it can be a lot if we aren't setting boundaries. And I
Yeah.
wasn't setting boundaries. And so that's what was happening it was just burning me out.
Yeah, it's heavy.
So yeah, so nobody was talking about AI at the time.
Yep.
Like nobody. And people thought I was nuts. They're like, wait, what are you doing? Like, why are you shutting down this business that's so successful and going into AI? This is just like a flash in the pan sort of thing. And this at the time during my sabbatical, and I spent too much time on this during the sabbatical, but it's okay. But I started building my what I still have. It's called Pick Rick's Brain Coaching AI chatbot. So it's a chatbot that, and everyone has them now, but they're not quite the same, I don't think. But at the time I had 8 to 10 years of coaching knowledge, conversations, transcripts, Q&As, all this other stuff. So we ended up training a chatbot. Again, this is 3 years ago, before it was sort of the thing to do, where we trained it such that people can just sit down with it and get coaching from me. But we created it in such a way that, like, I want it to be like right now, let's just say that you're asking me questions and I'm following up with questions and actually coaching you, rather than just saying, you ask a question, it reads a knowledge base, like whatever information, and then spits out an answer. I didn't want that. So I wanted to be literally like, we're sitting down for coffee, you're asking me questions, you're getting coaching, and that's what the experience that I wanted to create. So anyway, we did that, and like really successfully. I think we did that really well, and to this day we still have it. That
Can
really
I ask on that? And don't go too technical on us yet. But what does that look like to train it to ask questions instead of giving advice?
So we use a tool called CoachVox. I think you know Jody. You might know Jody, who's the co-founder. So we use CoachVox, and that's part of their sort of secret sauce in the background, the back end of the tool. But yeah, I mean, there's settings in that where, and I mean, I wouldn't want to do that right now, but I could probably build my own version of it at this point. But there's no need. Like, CoachVox is great. Like, it works really, really well for this. But there's settings in the background, and I forget what they're called, but it's like that give that sort of experience of answer. Like the example I always use is like, somebody asked me like, well, Rick, how do I lower my cost per lead in my ads? Okay. There's 7 different ways to do that, So like, that's where most chatbots these days, these coaching chatbots, that they'll like give you those 7 ways, right?
Yes.
That's not helpful to you in your specific situation, right? Because like the first question I'm going to ask, for example, is like, well, what's your landing page conversion rate? If it's 7%, well, that's the issue we need to deal with. If it's 47%, check that box. That's not something to, you know what I mean? Flag. So it's, so it's like, it's that type of back and forth to get down to the root problem of your specific question. And then it gives you custom advice for that specific situation because we've trained it to do that.
Yeah.
Can
I say for the listeners, most of them are coaches, course creators, consultants, experts, speakers, etc. Right? So they're creating content. They've got clients that they're serving. Let's start from, first of all, let's presume someone is, maybe they've got 1 or 2 assistants in their business, maybe a customer service person, and maybe like a community manager or a marketing person or something like that. What, at a foundational level, how should coaches be thinking about utilizing AI? And what do you think are the mistakes that they're making at the moment, just as a foundation level, right?
The mistake is the mindset around it. A lot of people are afraid to start using it, to thinking that, number one, if they're going to get artificial answers, like the content's not going to sound like them, that people will know right away that AI wrote this, Another big one, especially if somebody has like an EA, or, maybe somebody's helping them with content, or what have you, a marketing person, there, a lot of times people think like, well, I don't want to get rid of them. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm never, I'm never saying like, get rid of your team. What the reality though is so many people want higher profit in their business.
Yeah.
One way that can happen is leveraging more AI in the business, so that you're not paying whatever thousands of dollars for a certain role in the business, where AI can be doing that for next to nothing. Right. So that's a mindset shift, right? Is like,
can you tell me from your experience, because this one thing I find with AI is like, there's just so many recommendations, there's so many tools. It's just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite ones? And I know that you teach this within your membership, but I'm curious, like, what are some of your favorite ones to like, like, for example, for us, we use Seraph in our customer service to kind of like pre-build all of the answers to the emails that come in, and then they're edited by a real person.
I never heard of that before.
Seraph. Well, there you go. I'm teaching you.
Nice.
Rick.
I know. Thank you for that. I'll take a note of that one.
Yeah, Seraph, like the normal font name.
Yeah.
Seraph.ai.
Okay.
Plugs into Gmail. But that's cool. That one, it's like $30 a month, and it probably saves my customer service person, probably an hour a day.
It's huge.
At least,
yeah.
or more. So yeah. But sorry, yeah. What are some fundamental tools, one or two things that we can discuss and go a little bit deeper on?
So I'm going to give you the worst answer ever.
Yeah.
But this is what I teach all the time in the community, is like, we don't start with the tool. Start with, what is the use case that you want to accomplish. And then once you understand that, and have, understand what the process is for doing that. So for example, let's just say, for customer service, right? So I'm guessing you didn't start with Seraph. You started with like, this is the problem that we have. How do we make this easier? Then these are the 5 tools that could help with this. And you're using Seraph, and it's saving your EA, like, or customer service person, an hour a day. That's huge.
Yeah.
So with that, like, figure out what the use case is. Like, we do a weekly newsletter, email newsletter. Okay, cool. Like, that's the thing that you want to solve for. It's every single week. It's repetitive, takes a lot of time, especially if you're doing it yourself. Like, that is a perfect candidate to have AI help, or just take that over, if you will. And so then it's like, okay, what are the steps that go into putting the newsletter together? And we all have different steps for that, right?
Yeah.
And so once you understand that, then it's like, okay, let's figure out the best tool or tools to do that. So that's the caveat answer to your question.
Because I will say this is huge, because I think for a lot of people, AI has made them more inefficient than efficient, because they're just distracted, randomly chatting with things, and then ChatGPT or Claude, it can lead you down this like psychosis of questions, and you end up with like the most random outcome.
And that's why we start I totally agree with you, and I see that all the time. That's why we start with, what is the thing that I want to solve for first? Solve for that, and then move on to the next thing that you want to solve for in the business. And then, and that brings up the dreaded time audit exercise, where we're tracking what we're doing no one likes to do it, like myself included. But it is just, especially with AI, like, it's so helpful to know where you're spending your time. What are you spending, like, how long you're spending your time on things? What is your team doing, if you have a team? Because then you can start to look at, I'm spending this many hours a week doing research for my YouTube video. That's a lot of time. So like, maybe that's something, and that's repetitive, and it's something that maybe I don't enjoy doing, but yet is a critical part of the business. Okay, cool. Great candidate for AI. And then what are the different ways that, to do that. So with all that said, I do like Gemini. Claude is my go-to. Claude's my
Okay.
go-to model every day. I use it. I'm in it all day, every day. And a couple different
And that
reasons.
tell me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but I know that there was a big government situation that happened recently where
Mhm.
kind of
Yep.
because they're owned by Anthropic and
Yep.
basically got kicked out because they couldn't get access. They didn't want they wanted unfettered access to it. But
Yeah.
but that just made me really aware of how deep Claude is in a lot of businesses. And is it true that it's bigger than ChatGPT? Like
It's
you
not.
used it,
It's not bigger than I mean, it is
OpenAI.
getting like with
Ah,
the whole government thing. Like there was
yeah.
a
It was
mass
probably good for them.
exodus from ChatGPT, from OpenAI over into Claude, because people, from a values perspective, it aligned more like, you know what, Anthropic isn't budging on this sort of thing, and so we agree with that. So we're going to align ourselves and with
Wow.
what Anthropic is doing.
Hmm.
Which frankly, that's how I do not use ChatGPT anymore. I mean, that was sort of like the final thing, if you will.
Sure.
Some people don't take that and no judgment. Like some people take none of that into account and just be like, is this the best model for me? I'm going to use it no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Claude is my go-to. It sounds funny to say this, but it's the most personable AI sounding, best content writer, like hands down. It sounds the most human, empathetic. Again, these are words that it's funny to say when we're using AI, but
Yeah.
it just sounds the most natural when writing. And also Claude, what Anthropic is doing with Claude, they're building it for businesses. Whereas OpenAI is building ChatGPT to be like the AI for every person.
For everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can see that in the types of products that Anthropic is putting out. Like, they have what they call co-work now. And this is, whereas if you go into chat with Claude, just whether in the browser or in their desktop app, you're just chatting with it, right? Whereas co-work is more like executing tasks for you. You tell it what you want it to do and it will go do it. And then Claude Code is more advanced, but like they're really coming out with their focus is on business, which is, as business owners, I like that,
That's good to know. Because I will say I stopped using Claude and I really enjoyed Claude, especially from a writing perspective. And then I've just mainly been using ChatGPT, but definitely since it hit the news, I've been a little bit more aware of like, oh, maybe I should do that. And I've seen people say that, anytime they're writing something, they're using Claude as well.
Yeah.
And I know coding's really strong in there.
Yep.
But what else do you use it for? What are you personally finding it really like producing a great outcome? Like, can you give me an example of something that it's actually saved you time?
Oh, wow.
And made it efficient?
So I will say this, that I rarely, unless it's like a quick question, for example, I'm rarely using normal Claude chat. I am all Claude Code now.
Okay.
And
what does that mean? Tell me about that, because I haven't gone deep into code.
So Claude Code, it sounds more scary, sounds more technical because there's code in the word. I am not a coder. I'm not a developer. I've built an app for my membership using Claude Code by simply telling it what I want it to do. And if you could, that's the skill, by the way. Like, this is the skill for AI that so many people are missing, is being able to clearly articulate what it is that we want. That sounds so easy logically, but it's actually, I think, it's quite hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, to be able, because it's the whole, like, you ask your VA to do something, right? And then they don't do it correctly. And you're like, why didn't you just do it the way that, like, you were thinking about it in your brain, right? Yeah. Well, it's not their fault. Like, you didn't clearly articulate what it is that you wanted. AI is the exact same thing. Is you have to be able to clearly articulate what it is that you want to accomplish? Like, what is the outcome that you're looking for? Like, what do you want it to do?
And when you say code, like, what are you doing with the code?
It's not code. So you can code in there.
Yeah.
The reason I like it is it's the most flexible in order to, and this is where we can get more advanced really quickly, but it's the most flexible for asking it to create agents, for example. Again, this is all natural language, and I use it's now called Flow, but Whisper Flow, which
I love Whisper Flow.
Yeah,
that's probably honestly, that's like my favorite app.
Totally. And it's great when you are using AI because you just hit a keyboard shortcut, you just start talking. You're not worried about like a fancy prompt engineered prompt, like with this structure. You're just talking and telling it what you want it to do, and then it figures out how to do it. And so Claude Code is more like, again, you tell it what you want and it will create the solution to do that. Whereas,
so is Claude, can I ask, because I haven't used Claude Code, is Claude Code a different part within Claude, or is it just the regular chat that you're using?
It's a different part. So if you use Claude with the desktop app, along the top, at least right now, they tend to change it around a little bit. Along the top, there's like 3 little tabs. It'll say chat, cowork, and then code. So cowork is essentially Claude Code, but less scary for people with a nicer interface, basically, to use it. And the ironic thing is that a few different people at Anthropic built Claude Cowork using Claude Code in like, I don't know what it was, like 10 days, 2 weeks or something like that. Like they use their own technology to build something, because what happened was they noticed that, quote unquote, normal people were using Claude Code to do things, not coding with it. And so, but yet it tends to be scary for people because it's Claude Code and it is a little bit more technical, but I mean, think of it like the skill is be able to clearly articulate what it is that you want it to do. Whereas Claude Code, that's how I'm using it in the business. And we can go technical there or whatever, but like I just created, for example, a chief of staff literally yesterday that every single day I put a command in the morning, checks my calendar, checks my Slack, checks my email, checks all of my notes that I've been taking during the day.
How is that connected? Like, where is that connected to? Because I don't know, I don't understand the agent thing yet. Like I'm very not clued in with that.
Yeah.
Being what does that mean to like how it interacts with, is it because you've actually made the integration? Like you've integrated everything. Oh, right. Yeah. Cool.
Now there's the difference. There's also a difference there with Claude Code, for example. I'm not physically going and connecting things. I'm telling it what I want. Meaning like, I want you to check my Slack every single morning and provide me an update on X, Y, and Z, whatever. And so then it will ask you questions about your Slack in order to make that connection. Like yesterday when I was setting up, is like, what workspace do you want to use? Oh, like, it's like, I don't know, I forget what mine's called, but I just answer that question, right? And so that's the difference, is you're telling it that you want to connect.
But I'm assuming you're integrating it still technically in the back end, or you're not?
With Claude, Anthropic has what they call connectors.
Yes,
and
correct.
So those are what they call MCPs. And again, a little technical, but it's like, think of it like the simplistic way to think about it is like, we've heard of API, right? Like connecting tool A to tool B.
Yes.
An MCP just basically like allows them to talk to each other and do things within the tool that you're connecting to. Anthropic has just called them connectors. And so they have sort of pre-done connectors. Slack is one, Gmail, Google Calendar, that sort of thing. They have actually a whole bunch of them. So you can just say, look, I want to connect to my Asana, whatever, or my Monday.com or whatever. And you just tell it, and it will ask you the necessary questions it needs in order to do that.
Yeah, right.
That's the difference, is you're telling it what you want and it goes and figures out how to do it rather than in chat, for example, in like normal Claude chat, you have to physically go like connect the thing yourself.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to do that in Claude. I would not recommend people start out with Claude Code.
Yeah.
But yeah, you asked how I'm using it. That's how I'm using it.
No, that's
day.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious about, like I mentioned, most of our audience, they're consultants, coaches. So creating an AI version of themselves is probably high on their priority list if they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
What's I know there's like tools like Delphi. We don't use Delphi, but what have you found from just across the board? Where do you think people should start with something like that?
The way that
and what are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, know why you're doing it first, because a lot of people think about AI and like from the perspective of like this, I can make me more efficient, or it can do things faster, or whatever. I don't need such and such person to do these things because AI can do them, which is great. But like when we start thinking about scaling our coaching knowledge and being able to coach at scale with an AI solution, now we're shifting from like looking at ways to make ourselves more efficient and the business more efficient to how can I leverage AI and allow my students to get the solution that they're hiring, like paying for, whether it's a course or membership or whatever it might be. They just want the result. Like, how can we leverage AI to help them get the result faster? Because that is going to do, so many different. Number one, it's going to make your offer that much better because you are helping them get solutions faster. If it's a membership, for example, that can increase retention because people want your whatever solution that you have. And so as part of that, the difference that what I see in, like, if you're a coach or consultant, for example, is people want to create a chatbot that will answer people's questions based on like their content, whether it's their course or what have you. I think that's different than if you want to create like a true coaching chatbot.
So let's start with the first one. Like, if that's the base, you just want something to work with your students based on your content knowledge. What could that look like? What are some options there?
So the mistake that a lot of people make is they make a GPT, which is like a simple chatbot inside of ChatGPT that you can make. I say the mistake is because you can't embed that anywhere. You can't like put that onto a page in your Kajabi or whatever it might be. It's a link that you share that you can't control access to.
It's not protected. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that is probably the biggest question I get is like, because so many people told people to like, oh, just create a GPT. Yeah. Well, for those reasons that we're talking about, it's like, that's not the best solution. Not even to mention like the AI model and like, is it actually even reading your information to give the answer and so forth. So that's number one to know is like, okay, make the decision. Do I want it to be just like, I want somebody to be able to ask my, my chatbot based on my course or content, what have you. Yeah. For those types of things, there's a tool called MindPal that does a very good job on things that are external facing, meaning like that you're not using internally in your business, but you're building something so that your students can interact with it. So there's an interface essentially that you can embed on your page, whatever coaching platform, whatever you're using, you can embed it on there. That way it's protectable. It's not shareable. People have to log into your course or your membership or what have you in order to access it. So that's what I would recommend. I find that to be the easiest solution for people.
What's the website for that one?
I think it's just mindpal.space. Let me see.
Yeah,
Mindpal.
Right. Like MIND?
Yeah. Mindpal.space. Yeah, Mindpal, MINDPAL.space.
Oh, nice.
And Yeah, I've known that team for a while, and I use them in I'm moving away from some things just because I'm building my own custom solution. But yeah,
Yeah.
MindPal they do a really good job for anything external facing to
That's
your
cool.
students.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can embed that into your Kajabi course or your school
Yep.
course or whatever it is. Yeah.
Not school,
Maybe
unfortunately,
not
because they
school.
don't allow embedding. Don't get me started. But Kajabi, like Thinkific, like Circle, all the, like
Yes.
they allow you to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or on your
Yeah.
website. You can embed it on your
Sure.
website also. And so essentially you're just telling it in very, very high level. You're just saying when somebody asks a question, reference this material. This material would be your book, your course material, your whatever it is, whatever information that you have, and review the information I'm giving you. Again, the book, whatever files, and answer their question. Do not make answers up. Only pull the answer from from the knowledge I'm giving you to do that.
Nice.
So that's like the simple version. Anybody can do that in a matter, like you can have that up literally in an hour. The part 2 to that is like the coaching chatbot, where like we were talking about before. So like Delphi, Coach Fox, those sorts of solutions where
so Coach Vox is like Delphi. You can
Coach. I would flip it and say Delphi is like Coach Fox because Coach Fox was first.
Was the OG, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's more like you can totally use it like that, like I just described, like so you can embed a chatbot, and then it's just a simple. I ask a question, it gives me an answer based on your course content or what have you. But I think there's real value, and I think something a lot more special where if I sit down with a chatbot and I know that it's trained on Colin's knowledge of whatever 10 years of what you've been teaching, and it's like we're sitting down for coffee, and it's like how do I get more sales from this webinar presentation? Well, you could give 15 different answers for that, but like the right answer for that person and their specific situation depends on a lot of factors. So you would have questions for them, right? So like that's really where I think the value comes from a true coaching chatbot is you're teaching it, you're having it ask those follow-up questions so it gives the best answer for that person's specific situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, and that's not as hard. That's like back when I built mine, I had 4 full-time VAs. We spent 4 months building it full-time. They were pulling information from all these, like now it's so much easier to do it. So
you just drop all the files in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's the big thing is like, what do like, I think a lot of people get caught up in like, I want a coaching chatbot. Okay, awesome. Like what kind of coaching chatbot, and for a lot of people, just having a chatbot that's simply trained on your course material where people ask a question to get further clarification and the answers from that, for a lot of people, that's enough.
Yeah. No, that's really good. That's really helpful. Dude, this has been really great. What's as we kind of wrap this up, what's like a question that you find gets asked a lot in your community that you've been answering a lot lately, that you think might be relevant for our audience?
I think it really, I would say it's kind of wrapped up into that, the GPT question we talked about is like, hey, I've created this GPT. People can ask questions to it, but yet I can't protect it in any way. So I think that, and we kind of answered that. The other piece of that is like, there's a huge apprehension of people saying, well, I don't want to give my course material over here to AI because that's my IP. Like that's my secret special knowledge. And we could spend a whole another episode on just like the privacy aspect of it all. And there are things that you can do to protect that, right? Like you can turn off switches and stuff like that in the back end of like Claude or ChatGPT or what have you. But think about it like this too, is like AI is only going to be as helpful to you as the information that you're giving it. And I would look at it like that too, from your student's perspective as well. Is like, if you want to create this great, environment or solution for your students, well, it's going to have to be based on your IP and your knowledge from an AI perspective. You know what I mean? From like a chatbot perspective, for example.
And so that includes even how to ask it questions.
100%. 100%. I was at, my wife, Amy. So she's an online health coach. She's been using Claude for a long time. It's the only AI tool that she uses. Only tool. She only uses Claude. And she gets output, like the stuff that she gets out of Claude is it blows my mind because it's so good. And she was yesterday at lunch. We were just having lunch yesterday, just in our kitchen. And she was explaining to me like what she got from Claude. She asked this question and what have you, and the way that it helped her. And I was like, how do you continue to get, because I'm legitimately interested, like, how do you continue to get such amazing output from Claude? And she said, I just talk to it. And I clearly explain what it is that I want. And like that, it's as simple. And this is not, she's not using Claude projects. She's not using agents. She's doing none of that. She just uses Claude, talks to it, and it has such a great memory of her business at this point, because she's been using it for like 2 years now, that she just talks to it and she knows how to, again, clearly articulate. So that is the big thing where if somebody has a question, like they're not getting the kind of output that they want, you're not being clearly articulate with what it is that you want it to do. And again, going back to like, it sounds easy, right? Like, oh, well, like I could just explain what it is I want. That's hard. I have a hard time with that all the time, So
that's so interesting. I think you've won me back over with exploring Claude again. I will say, when I think about it, I enjoyed the interactions with Claude.
Yeah.
Even way more than GPT. So I love this dude. There's been so many great insights, some cool like tools like MindPower Space, Coach Fox, and just understanding how to utilize AI. Obviously, we've only scratched the surface. You run like a membership and an app and stuff like that on.
Yeah.
Do you want to point people to something that they could check out with you if they're interested in going deeper?
Yeah. Thanks for that. Like I have a YouTube channel where I talk about all this stuff. The difference on the YouTube channel is I share a lot of use cases for businesses. So your audience is exactly the audience that I speak to. And so we talk about AI use cases for different tools and that sort of thing. So the YouTube channel put out videos every week. We took a little break for a while, but we're back to the weekly videos.
You got lots up there.
Yeah, like it's done very, very well. The channel's done extremely well. So I would start there, and then the AI Playbook community, where just an amazing community of online entrepreneurs. And as you mentioned, I built what I call Your Zone of Genius app for people in the membership, where people kept telling me, they're like, I just want AI to do, the day-to-day work, the 80% of the business work, so that I can focus on my 20%, my zone of genius. And that's what this app does. I built a complete AI team for people that will do different tasks, write emails and put together offers. And it's a CMO. It will optimize your revenue and all this different type of stuff. So it's basically like, people are like, I just want the easy button. It's like, here you go. Here's the app. So
within that app, there's all different roles like and functions in their business.
Exactly. And you start out in the app you customize it to your business, your tone of voice, your offers, all different, whatever information that is relevant to your business. And then I've trained the roles specifically on what those roles are, but also layered in my own IP and my, my expertise for how I would have those things done. So it's a pretty powerful combination with with those types of things, with that training along with the user's business information and custom to them. Yeah.
So good, man. We'll put the links down below.
Cool.
What's the easiest way just for them to check that out? Is it
just
in the App Store?
in the AI playbook? Yeah, which is the community. It's only available in there right now.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah,
I haven't done that. I haven't done the App Store yet, but that is something I've been thinking about over the past week or so. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
First things first.
Rick, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you, man, having a chat. We've got many more conversations, I feel, ahead of us. And it's been a pleasure having you on the Expert Edge. And thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Good to see you.